Okay. So, what I want to talk about is the day that this female cop pulled a gun out on me. It was about the time that right after I graduated, this female cop pulled a gun out on me. So what happened was I'm riding in the downtown area of the area that I stay in, and there's a lot of traffic. Boy, please, I'm too pretty to be lying. Now get your troll behind on somewhere else. Anyhow, I don't have nothing to lie about, boo. Baby, the ticket is on record. The ticket is on record. Okay? So now listen to the story and be quiet or go bye bye. So I'm driving in the downtown area. It's a lot of traffic. It's like rush hour. So I noticed a cop car behind me because I like have a little radar in my head that makes me feel when they're around. Plus, I was just like, I looked in my rearview mirror and I saw the cop behind me. I didn't really think nothing of it, but it was like, it felt like she was getting closer and closer to me. Like people were making way for her to get right behind me. Like it was like, oh, there goes the black person. Let me make room for you to get behind the black person. So I'm like, okay, I see her. There's a homeless man walking across the light. The light is red. I see the cop. I turn my right headlight on to turn because I'm being a dummy. And I'm like, well, I'm going to see if they're following me because I feel like she's following me. Now, this was stupid because I went away from all the traffic and I turned. So, thank you. So, I turned and she was following me. And I'm like, oh, snap, they are following me. And so then I was like, okay. So then I turned again, and it was close to a place where I worked, but I ended up being in a dark spot, like where nobody kind of was. The train runs this way, but I was like facing the opposite way. And so I was just like, she gets out the car, and she gets out the car with the gun on me, literally. And so I was like so shocked because this has never happened to me before that my first reaction was to literally turn the car off. So for some reason I turned because I wanted it to seem like, I wasn't trying to get away, I wasn't trying to escape or anything. So I thought that all this would be for my protection. So then I literally got out the car like a dummy, and but I thought all this was gonna help me. So I put my hands up because I have on a flat spaghetti strap shirt and I have on tights and sandals. And so I was showing her like, and I turned around in a circle and I was showing her I don't have any weapons or any guns on me or anything like that. So she was like, get back in the car now, get back in the car. And I'm thinking, why does she want me to get back in the car? She gonna try to kill me while I'm sitting in the seat, I ain't really feeling that. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get back in the car. And so then she was like, the windows were all the way up. So she was like, roll the windows down, roll the windows down. And I'm like, God's talking to me. And I'm like, I ain't rolling the windows down. And I was like, because God was telling me she might try to shoot you because I have to reach over here to turn my windows down. And as soon as you know how some of them are, as soon as you turn and move like this, they gonna act like you trying to pull something out on them. So I was like, she kept on yelling out loud, and I was like, I finally said, I can't roll the windows down because if I do, I have to turn the car on. And she's like, well, why didn't you say that? And I said, because you wouldn't let me talk. And then so she was like, so I turned the car on to roll the window down. She's all looking in there. And, she tells me, where's my driver's license and registration? You know, I don't know, but before she really tried to get that, I was looking for it. I really couldn't find it, but I know it was in there. And she started going back all in my car because I was moving. I just graduated college and I was going to my best friend's house. I was preparing for that. So she's like really just focused on looking all in my car and stuff. Like she wants to see everything that I've packed. And I'm like, this lady's weird. It seemed like she's just being like nosy. So I asked her, do you know one of my teachers in college? Because you remind me of her. Because this teacher treated me really bad. And I felt like maybe she was out to do something to me or out to get me. And she was a part of it. So I was just like, okay. So I told her, I said, ma'am, why did you pull a gun out on me? Like I just kept asking her that. I was like, why did you pull a gun out on me? And she was like, I'm gonna live today. And she was like, okay, so she put the cuffs on me. And so then I was like, oh crap. But like it was a black cop with her, a lady female cop, and she just looked terrified. She just looked like it was her first day on the job. And I felt like this female cop, she had black hair. I couldn't tell what she was. And I was like, I guess I felt like she was showing her that I'll treat you like this and I'll treat your people like that, even in front of you, but I'm not sure. Maybe she wasn't. And I also felt like maybe she had a bad day. Maybe like her boyfriend did something bad to her and she was mad. So I was just like, I don't know. So all of a sudden, these two white men come out the building and they witness what's going on, and I was like, I didn't do anything to you. Why did you pull your gun out on me? Because I'm letting them know I didn't do anything to this to the lady. And so I tell the lady, you know what? Um, so I said, you know what? I said, you know what, ma'am? I don't trust you. Is there any way you can bring somebody else? And my dumb self. And so then all of a sudden, there's like five police cars that pull up. The only thing that literally made me feel calm, 'cause when I saw all those cops come, dude, I was like, oh shit. Like, I didn't know. This is worse. But the only thing that made me feel kind of okay was there was this one cop, he was just like smoking a cigarette. And I was like, okay. But then this other cop gets out the car and he's like the kind of aggressor. And so they're all coming up. She says the number, whatever she said, da 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 da, 96, I don't know, whatever, on her little walkie. They come and the mean one comes out of the car and it's like he just acts like she didn't tell them anything. She didn't describe to them anything about me, anything that was going on the scene. She just like said a number or whatever, and then they all came, like five of them. And so I was like, the one white dude got out the car. They were all white and they were all dudes. And he got out the car and he was like being rude to me. He grabbed my arm and walked me on the side of the car door, the passenger side, and he ran me into the girl, the first like girl with the black hair, white girl with the black hair. And I was like, why you run me into that girl? You know what I'm saying? And like, is this something racist? And he's like, yeah, sure, it's racist. And I'm like, well, I don't understand why you bumped me into her. And I'm like, you don't have to grab my arm like that. I could walk. I'm not a little kid. Because they're still trying to get me to find my ID and stuff. But I didn't like how they had the door like this open, like a shield, and they had me in between the door right here, and then they were both right there too. So I felt like it was a shield where like they could like shoot me or whatever and act like I tried to assault them by the door, and it was just weird. Like, so I was like, okay. I She told me, I didn't have car insurance, but I did have car insurance. So I don't know why they didn't look it up. I didn't have it on me, but turns out I did have car insurance. And she was like, "Man, we usually, um, take people to jail for this and tow their car, but we're gonna give you a warning, I guess, because they pulled the gun out on me." So the chief came out, and the chief told me he was like, well, if you want to file a report against her, whatever you can, I know everybody up there. So if you want to make a report, you can do that. And I told him that I was, kind of nervous because I've seen all the things that have happened to African American people. The statistics doesn't look too good. And he was like, that was insulting. I have black family members. My daughter-in-law is, or my daughter or daughter-in-law, somebody, I don't know, is married to a black man. And I was just like, okay, now he's insulted by me. Oh, that's great. Not understanding me. Now he found a reason for him to be insulted. This is just great, isn't it? But he was just like, if you want to file a report, oh yeah, they know me up there. Just give them my name and tell them, and everything. And so I was like, okay, are you gonna take these handcuffs off me? And he asked the girl again, do you want to? Can you go ahead and take the handcuffs off her? And she was just like, yeah, we usually take people to jail for this and tow their car, but we'll let you go. So she gave me a warning. And I'm like, well, actually, I had car insurance, so it would have been dismissed once I would have found it. But what happened was I took the warning thing and I put it in my storage and I put it in a folder. Okay. At this storage unit, there was this white dude when I went in there and I told him, I said, you look like a cop or something. And he said, yeah, I used to be an ex police officer. And I said, oh, okay, well, that's weird. I don't understand why you're working at a storage unit. And so when I went back to I had to take care of that situation because they said I had a warrant out for my arrest like years, like a year later or so. So I was going back to prove no, they put a warning on that. And I also have my car insurance. But they were trying to make me think that I didn't have car insurance and stuff. But that warning slip disappeared. I know I put it there. It was a pink slip and it said warning. So when I went back to look for that, so that I could go to court or do whatever I had to do, that thing came up missing. And how I know that somebody went in my storage unit is because my lock, I put it on a certain way and it was turned backwards the other way, like it was somebody with that was left-handed. So I was like, did somebody go in my storage unit? And she was like, they're not supposed to. I was like, yeah, because somebody opened I can tell somebody went in there because I don't put my lock on that type of way. And I bought one of their type of locks. So I don't know if they have a device or something. And so I was just like, okay, well, that's strange. Maybe that police officer stole it from out of my storage unit for the police lady. And then I ended up going to talk about the paperwork at court, not at court, at the office place. And they were showing that I went to court for it already. I hadn't gone to court for it. So how did they say that I went to court for it? And like some of the document, the slip, because I told them, can I get the original? It had stuff that was crossed out, like it clearly wasn't the original because it would have had the warning thing and it wouldn't have had something scratched out that wasn't on the original. So I was just like, wow, I never been through anything like this. And it's crazy. Like, are you serious? So that really scared me.